Hey, hey, welcome to Coco's Corner. I'm Dave Coco from Kocosports.com, KOCOsports.com. It's your home for combat sports. It's where the world comes to kick ass, and it's where it's okay to be a passionate fan. This is another TNA Impact review. I promise to do one every week this year. I missed one because I failed this podcast, but I'm back on track. We always keep track of win, loss, and ties. So win, loss, or tie. What you thought of this Impact? Do you think it was a win for TNA, a loss, or a tie? TNA had one hell of a February and it's been rocky at best, but a lot of people are hating on this show. I'm going to give it a slight win, a very weak win. I do like the MVP, Bobby Lashley, Kenny King situation, and I know a lot of people that are anti-TNA right now are saying that they're copying everything, and this is a little bit like Evolution, but I don't think it's as bad as that. I live in Japan, and impacts are like a couple weeks or a couple months behind. And last night on G Plus here in Tokyo, we got to watch the Daniel Bryan. I was about to say Daniel Bryan, but we got to see Eric Young play the part of Daniel Bryan on Impact. And I noticed so much stuff on that show that I didn't notice before. I think Magnus might not have been too happy. If you go back and watch that episode, Magnus dropped real big hints that this was a bad idea. I mean, I think he says like plagiarism once or twice during the Eric Young match. So if you go back and watch it again, I got to watch it again because it finally aired here in Japan, and they're that far behind. It's crazy. But yeah, and a lot of people think MVP, Bobby Lashley, Kenny King, or a carbon copy or a copy of Evolution. And I see it a little bit, but nothing like that one show. And I think once you've copied someone that much, you're going to be hurt by that all the time. This is not the first three-man heel faction team. I actually like this. I think the story is quick. Someone last week in the comments said, well, maybe the MVP Lashley Kenny King storyline is quick because Aces and Eights were so slow. And that is a huge, great point. So let's break it down. I say slight win, win, loss, or tie. And we are looking for a co-host. Boom Boom I quit on TNA. I've interviewed like at least 9 guys that I know. And I actually interviewed 10 people. Like, dude, all you have to do is watch Impact, come on a show, and talk about it. And only one said maybe. They're like, oh, I haven't watched Impact in forever. I'll watch this week. But we do have good news later on tonight, or I guess later on today, depending on where you live in the world. We will be doing a SmackDown review, and we'll hopefully have a weekly SmackDown review. So it's exciting times for the channel. Hopefully we can do a lot more reviews. And we did invite a WWE hater who that always leaves in the comments that we're WWE fanboys. Anyone that goes around YouTube, and I invited this guy, but I don't know if he got the message on YouTube. Anyone that goes around YouTube and says anyone who critiques TNA is a WWE fanboy, I challenge you. I challenge you to come on the show. I just challenge you. I invited this guy on the show, and I don't know if he got the secret hidden message link. I even sent him a message earlier today saying, hey, did you get the message? Because, you know, of course, he was like, anytime, any place. I'm like, all right, well, we'll do it next week. Here's an email. Hit me back. Nothing. So I want to see, because I don't think there's that many TNA fans out there. I think there's more WWE haters than TNA fans. So in the comments below, win, loss, or tie, I'm going with a weak win. But I really like this. I really like this faction here. All right, so let's break it down, shall we? MVP Bobby Lashley and Kenny King were confronted by the Wolves. They attacked, and Lashley speared Davey Richards through a table, sending him to the hospital. I really like this segment, but I'm worried because the fans did not seem that much into it. I like the talking. I like the Wolves coming down. I like everything about this storyline. I really do. But sometimes when you see a great storyline play out and the crowd just doesn't give a shit, but I noticed in Orlando, the crowd really doesn't give a shit. Like, even when Eric Young won the title, you go back and watch that episode. Yeah, even TNA's fans are not very good fans. But like I said, in the fans' defense, they have to wait a long time to get into that building for free. So they're probably just tired of waiting in the summer heat. But yeah, I thought this was a good segment. I love the new Kenny King. Lashley needs to talk less. Lashley is a decent to great big man pro wrestler, depending on the day. Some days you're like, wow, Lashley's the man. Sometimes he's got the MMA background. I like Bobby Lashley a lot. The less he talks, the better. He should just be the muscle standing in the background. MVP's good at cutting promos, and the new heel Kenny King, to me, is absolutely amazing. I love heel Kenny King. I love the fact that the Wolves came out. I just loved everything about this opening segment. I really enjoyed it. Hopefully this is a good thing to come. I know there's people out there, I've seen them, that do not like the MVP Bobby Lashley Kenny King trio. And, you know, one complaint that I completely understand, MVP turned heel so quick. But like I said, a commenter last week mentioned, well, maybe they need to speed it up because Aces and Eights was so horrible. So I understand MVP turning heel so quickly is a bit ridiculous, but besides that, I really like this. I like the fact that Kenny King, and it's so funny because Kenny King, if you ever meet Kenny King, he's the nicest guy in the world, and he's pulling off being a complete prick awesome, and he's just, you know, a little bit out of control. So I really enjoy this. I enjoy the opening segment, and I think the fact that this opening segment, when it's a good opening segment, it gets you in the mood to not fucking just shit on the complete product. So I hope they keep this up. I hope it goes. I give this a win, but mostly for storylines. The matches were not that great. Knockouts champion Angelina Love defeated Brittany. I'm just not feeling Brittany right now. I don't know. She's beautiful. I mean, she's not a bad wrestler, but I'm just not feeling her. Like, they're always pushing her. And, you know, they have to give new, you know, women chance. But at the same time, I'm just not feeling it. They did the embarrassing thing, made her thing. There was shenanigans. And they pulled the bag on her head, drew the whole Joker smile with the makeup, and Gail Kim came down for the save, and I popped for that. I love Gail Kim. I think right now, if you count top-tier American pro wrestling, you don't count Shimmer, you don't count Japan, you don't count Mexico, I think Gail Kim is the best female wrestler they got going today. You can make an argument for AJ Lee and Paige, but I would still give it to Gail Kim. But then again, we don't see Gail Kim as much as we should. So I'm interested in seeing where this Knockouts goes. But as far as the match goes, I'm just not feeling Brittany. I don't know. She's beautiful. She's not a bad wrestler, but to me, I'm not feeling her yet. Maybe it gives more time. Austin Aries defeated MVP via disqualification. Austin Aries, I don't understand why he's in the doghouse. He should be and this is why I sometimes hate pro wrestling. Austin Aries doesn't kiss the ass, and that's why he's being in the doghouse. It's crazy because, like, this week's what the hell's that show? Explosion. I apologize. -10 for me. Explosion match was great, and it's so funny because someone in the Internet Infantry showed me Spin Cycle, and he had Spin Cycle, Explosion, the X Division. Guys that are on these shows are so much better than the wrestlers that are wrestling on Impact. So, to me, I just hope Austin Aries gets out of the doghouse. Austin Aries, to me, is the Dolph Ziggler of TNA, where they should be main eventing. Dolph and WWE should be main eventing, and Austin Aries should be main eventing. So, Austin Aries to be the MVP via disqualification, more shenanigans. If you are not digging this MVP Bobby Lashley Kenny King trio being on top, this is the show they really cemented them as the bad guys being on top. So I could see if you don't like these three men or you don't like this storyline, why this would be a loss for you. I personally love all three of these wrestlers. I got to see MVP and Kenny King. I got to see them up in Florida Independence, and I got to see MVP in Japan and WWE. And Bobby Lashley, you know, a great guy, MMA guy. You know, and it's funny because I wonder how big of a star Bobby Lashley would have been if he didn't leave WWE. They were pushing him pretty hard, but then he went to MMA and never had the success Brock Lesnar had. But then again, it's almost impossible to have that success. That's why Brock Lesnar's success in UFC is absolutely amazing. But it would have been interesting. But, you know, after the beating, Ethan Carter put Bully through a table and direction of his aunt Dixie Carter. Now, this is kind of good and bad. So MVP is beating him up, Austin Aries, and out comes Dixie Carter, who's not supposed to be there, but's there. It's infomercial time. You want to run your own promotion? Call 1-800. So infomercial, but this was probably their best infomercial in a while. I mean, I really wanted to buy the Dixie Carter run a promotion program. It was a real good infomercial, but she came down and you had heel versus heel, and I thought that was awkward, and then I thought Dixie was going to turn face. You know what? I feel bad for Dixie, but if Dixie's a face, at least you can be like, oh, poor Dixie. But Dixie as a heel, you're just kind of like, come on. You hate me, guys, right? I don't know. This is going to be bad. This is going to be bad. Nah, but I'll save, forget it. I'm already going down to hell. But it's like, you know, it's like, no, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. But it's like a special I'm going to go. I'm going to choose my words wisely. It's like a special person going to you in high school saying, hey, I want to fight you. Come on, fight. You take the high road and ignore Dixie Carter on that situation. You're just like, no, you got the best of me there, Dixie. It's going to go this way. There's no winning, you know. It's like South Park. I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. But as far as her being a face, you feel bad. You know, you could actually feel bad for her because she is Dixie Carter. I don't want to use the R word. She's Dixie Carter. So Ethan Carter comes out. They chase her, and then Bully Ray chases Dixie away. You know, I thought it was okay. You know, and then MVP and his gang beat the hell out of Bully Ray, and you know, then Ethan Carter comes down and throws Bully through a table, and Dixie goes back to being full heel. I don't know. The problem is, and maybe this is a good problem. This is a problem they have to solve. It's not a problem like, oh, I'll stop watching the show. It's a problem where you're like, someone needs to step up. But someone needs to be the hero. I don't think Bully Ray's ready for that spot, even though, you know, he's positioning and politicking to be the hero. He wants to be the CM Punk of TNA. But I think you need some heroes to stand out. Like, MVP was great when he was a face, and this is why him turning heel is getting so much heat, because there wasn't any faces in charge of a company or in charge of wrestling. And then he's like, oh, I'm a heel, but I don't get along with the other heel. And it's just like, dude, okay, we need someone to root for, even storyline-wise. And I know there's Eric Young, but ratings are going down. I feel so bad for Eric Young, but we'll get to him. Falls count anywhere. Willow defeated Magnus. This was just pure fucking garbage. Pure fucking garbage. His friend, we'll call him, I don't know his name, we'll just call him Butt Buddy. Magnus's Butt Buddy comes down and is like, you gotta be more hardcore, you gotta hit him with the thing. And they told the same story. And Magnus is like, you know what, my career's going down the shitter, might as well fucking say no. I absolutely despise and hate where they're taking the Magnus character. Magnus went from something great to embarrassing overnight. I think Magnus is the most improved TNA wrestler of all time. I will bang that drum to the day I die. And now it's just gone down. Like, yeah, who gives a shit if he fights Willow and doesn't fight Willow? Who cares if his butt buddy wants him to fucking hit him with a 2x4? Just stop. Just stop, please. Yeah, so that was just garbage. It was complete garbage. Eddie Edwards and Kenny King brawl. I love this. I loved everything about this. I love how hard, not hardcore, but stiff, how stiff it was, how great it was. I got lost in it, and they did something I hate, but at the same time, like, oh, okay, I understand it. I got so excited about Eddie Edwards and Kenny King. I was so fucking pumped up over this brawl. But halfway through, I'm like, this ain't even a match. And I get mad because it seems like it's a waste of time, but at the same time, I'm like, oh my god, where can I pay for this? This is the first time I saw a brawl that I was like, you know what? I will pay for this match. I will pay for Eddie Edwards versus Kenny King. So I usually hate brawls that take a long time because, you know, at the end it's like, oh, I threw you through everything, and now you take a backdrop and you're hurt forever, and I'm just going to walk away. I don't know, just sometimes when brawls happen, it takes you out of the pro wrestling zone. It takes you out of the universe. It takes you, you know, the fourth wall comes crumbling down. But I enjoyed this a lot, even though it wasn't a match. Definitely match of the night. There wasn't much to go along. Match of the night goes to a brawl with no clear finish, so that's kind of weird. But this I'm really looking forward to. This is a matchup that I would like to pay for. So yeah, I'm excited about that. And then Bobby Lashley defeated Eric Young in a non-title match. Eric Young is hurt. He's the fighting champion and all that, and he's going to be fighting MVP. I'm okay with all this. I really am. Let's see what we got for some notes here, and then if we got any live comments. I don't know if we do. Yeah, boom. All right, let's do some live comments. It's depressing watching mainstream press. TNA went total nonstop Jackson where wrestling has total nonsense acting. Yeah, it does feel weird. It does feel weird because total nonstop action, you know, it feels weird that I'm like, a brawl was match of the night, and it wasn't even really a match, and storylines are king on TNA. As an old school TNA watcher, been watching since day one, I find it to be completely weird. I find it to be weird that the alternative to WWE has more storylines than WWE. I never thought that day would come. Never in a million years. I always thought the alternative would have wrestling and WWE would have the storylines. And no, TNA is going all storylines. And while the ratings are suffering for that. Mike Ashman also says, both comments are from Mike Ashman. I love TNA, been a fan since day one, pay-per-view weekly shows. Woo-hoo! That's what TNA was awesome. Total nonstop action has become total nonsense action. Booking is backwards and complicated. The love and passion to make an Impact as an alternative. Boom. Freaking YouTube. Don't freaking dude, I hate YouTube comments. I don't hate Mike Ashman for leaving comments. I hate the system. I hate the system. The love and passion to make an impact and alternative from the creative team is gone. The product lost touch of their roots, what brought them to the dance. It is damn true this is not the same promotion anymore. And that is definitely true. That's why, like, when people say, oh, you're a WWE fanboy and all that, I invite them on the show. Because I don't think the people that are going around, I think they're completely fake people just leaving comments randomly. Because the one guy I invited on the show, he leaves comments on everyone's shit. And he's like, I'd like him to come on. I don't think he's a real person. And if he is a real person, I don't think he's a TNA fan. It's not the same promotion. No, it's not. It's when, and a lot of people are like, oh, how can a ring decide? You know, when the six-sided ring left, everyone's like, how can a ring make a difference? Because that everything left. Hogan took over. Hogan did more damage to TNA than probably good. I don't. It's just sad. TNA, we know as diehard fans that there are serious issues, which is holding the promotion back and money. Yeah, they're having really hard time with money. Mike Ashman is right. You know what? I'm looking for a co-host to host these, so I don't have to ramble on forever. But at the end of the day, dude, I've asked 9 people. All 9 are like, yeah, I'd like to work on a podcast. Just I don't want to do Impact. I have one guy that's like, oh, I'll watch this week's Impact and find out. So, you know, it's just, yeah, times are tough. And, you know, all these positive TNA guys that are going around WWE fanboys, I want to invite them on because I don't think they're TNA fans. I think that they are really just doing it. Aaron Moore says, if by any chance TNA goes under within the next year, and we'll know more about New York. I think New York is going to be a huge deciding factor. The Spike TV deal, New York will be a huge factor. And it's funny because, like, I never thought TNA would have to hand out flyers at Ring of Honor. I just never thought that day would come, but I was wrong. Who do you think would try to go to WWE? Bully Ray? Maybe, but you got to remember, Jim Ross and other people have said the Dudleys are, especially Bully Ray. Bully Ray is on a huge shit list on WWE. I'm pretty sure they'd bring Devon back before they brought Bully Ray. Maybe James Storm, that's a possibility, or Austin Aries. It's a possibility, but the thing is, I think WWE has NXT so stacked, maybe the American Wolves, the NXT is so stacked. I think if TNA goes under, Jarrett, New Japan, and Ring of Honor are their only options. I mean, if WWE can pass on AJ Styles, they can pass on anyone in TNA. And I don't think anyone goes to WWE. Maybe Bobby Lashley. I don't know. I don't know who left on good terms, to be honest. How do you think it would impact WWE with a surge of new talents? You got to see how they treat NXT guys. I think if TNA guys come back and they had the surge of talent, they would just line up and put John Cena over. And that's what I'm afraid about NXT guys. That's my biggest fear about NXT is, oh, we got over, now go put Cena over. You know, until Cena, Orton, the D Club starts putting over NXT guys, I don't see it happening. And a lot of people like John Cena defenders will be like, oh, well, he's putting, no, he's not. He's not putting anyone over. Not putting anyone over. But anyway, let's stick on TNA. I think Jarrett, Ring of Honor, New Japan, and maybe a little bit of NWA, I think if they all stuck together and did something great, maybe, you know, have Global, have it as a free agent market where you can represent your company in Global, I think that would do amazingly well. You know, maybe bring back an NWA current system and just have everyone work together. But you got to remember, there's a lot of egos in wrestling. There's just a lot of egos in YouTube. I mean, come on, like, we sit here on our fat asses talking into a webcam about pro wrestling, and then we'll be like, oh, let's ruin the other guy who's sitting on his fat ass talking about pro wrestling. Fuck him. All right, if we, as fat-ass nerds talking into webcams, can't even get along, how do you expect promotions putting money on the line to get along? There's just a lot of ego in it. But I don't want to see TNA go out of business. I want to see them do good. I know a lot of fucking TNA bots, and they're like, oh, you're a WWE fanboy. It's not true. I mean, I can tell you what, most people want it to go out of business. I don't. I want it to be good. I just want it to be good, and I think it can, you know, and it's just, how many times can you give a company a chance? You know what I mean? How many times can you give a company a chance? So it's a bit crazy. Let's see. Boop, boop. Any more live comments? Bam, I don't think so. All right, we'll go back to live comments. We don't have that many live viewers, but hey, that's what happens when you're doing a live show, 4 o'clock in the morning or whatever freaking time it is. But yeah, if you got any questions, send them and we'll do it. I just took some notes. Like I said, Lashley, Kenny, just Bobby Lashley, they're just an awesome trio right now, I really think. The one thing that I kind of nicked it on is MVP. Don't say you sold out arenas across the country. That only reminds fans what happened at Miami at that pay-per-view. Don't ever do that again. I really like Kenny King not bashing the internet, because a lot of times heels will be like, oh, the internet said that, and like, no, we never really fucking said that. I didn't hear anyone say that. So I like the fact that he said we tricked the fans and we tricked everyone in the back. I like the fact that he didn't bash the internet. He did the same exact thing without being a fucking total tool. The Wolves I absolutely loved. I love to see that. EY, they keep saying EY's been there since day one. Did anyone watch that pay-per-view? Stop saying you've been there from day one. Just say you've been there for 10 years. Day one is really just AJ Styles. Go back, you know. All right. And then, the Gunner Shaw segments. I love Shaw because he's a Florida indie guy. I love Gunner. Happy Memorial Day out there to all the people that, you know, had loved ones that they lost. I should have probably said that at the beginning of the show. Maybe I'll say that at the beginning of SmackDown. And I support Gunner because we had the same exact job in the Marine Corps. I outranked him. How about that? Fucking boot, goddamn Gunner, you're a boot. Suck my fucking corporal cock. Okay, I'm just going a little too Marine Corps there. Actually, I outranked him by 2 things at one time in my life. 2 ranks. So, you know, Gunner, no hard feelings. Go clean my barracks. But yeah, me and Gunner had the same exact job, so I root for Gunner. I don't know if this is a bad storyline or a good storyline, but I went to the YouTube channel, and there was people shitting on it on an Impact, and then there was TNA Defenders, and they're like, Hey, how do you know? The story hasn't played out. Maybe this will be a good story. That was like a big defense. Now, here's the thing. When you pick up a book that is written by Stephen King, you're like, no way. Time travel? Okay, well, I trust Stephen King, so I'm going to read the rest of this damn book. If you watch Lost, and you're like, wow, look at that, a polar bear in a jungle. That doesn't make any sense. You trust J.J. Abrams, so you continue watching. When someone tells a story and something seems out of place or you're not sure, yeah, you could go, oh, give it time. But TNA has 11 years of telling bad stories. I don't think you could say, give it time, it will be good or bad. This might be a good storyline. But people shitting on it, which I'm not one of it, I'm going to give it time. I'm going to give it more time before I shit on it. But people that are shitting on it, and the people who are like, oh, give it time, maybe they're going off their reputation. Maybe they're like, you know what? No, we've given it time. They're going to fucking drop the ball on this one. You know, if it was a Paul Heyman production or, you know, someone that told a great story and played it throughout, then maybe you could be like, oh, I'll give it more time. But until then, geez, good. People bashing TNA and TNA fans going, TNA defenders going, I don't even call them fans, TNA defenders going, oh, we'll give it more time. We don't know if it's going to be good or not. I don't think TNA deserves that fucking give it more time. Have a couple storylines pan out in your favor, then you can go, oh, give it more time. But as of right now, I don't think they're at Stephen King, J.J. Abrams, Paul Heyman, Arrow type level of storytelling where you're like, you know what, I'm going to trust this. Yeah, they're not even at Futurama, maybe. I mean, I know it's bad, but South Park and Simpsons don't jump around as much as TNA does. So, that I hope it turns good. I'm not going to shit on it yet, but I'm worried. I'm keeping my eye on it. It's kind of like the circus act. You know, I gave the circus act a chance. I'm like, all right, that's it. I've had enough of it. Oh, and you had Anderson, Mr. Anderson, and damn it, who the hell was the fucking America's Most Wanted guy? That's when you know you're old school. You're like, America's Most Wanted guy. Storm had a drinking game, and this is really good on indie level. I'm going to tell you why it's really good on indie level. You get two of your stars to go in at indie level at a bar and say, we're going to have a drinking contest and sit on the side. That excites all the fans to buy more drinks. Okay? That's why people do that on the indie level. That's, I'm going to, behind the curtain, fourth wall crumbling, why they do drinking contests at independent events at a bar is to get the crowd excited to buy the wrestlers' drinks, to get the crowd excited to buy their own drinks. You know, I know this sounds bad, but the only reason there's drinking contests on indie-level events is because it's an idea to trick the fans into buying more fucking booze. Doing this on national television, they don't even sell fucking, they don't even sell fucking beer at the Impact Zone. Bad move. Bad move. At the end, it wasn't as bad as the beginning. The beginning was really bad. I'm like, wow, I guess the fucking bar has to sell more beer. A horrible thing. And I know they stole it from a lot of independents, because a lot of independents, it's a popular thing. And the reason why it's popular is because it sells more drinks. Well, you don't sell drinks, and you're on fucking national television. So they have their drinking contest, but he wasn't drinking alcoholic beer. The other guy was drinking alcoholic beer, and then biggity bam, biggity boom, bam. There you go. Yeah, Mr. Anderson wasn't drinking alcoholic beer, and he beats him up and says, good luck for the hangover, and keeps the really, really bad storyline going on. Mr. Anderson, I used to think you were a future star. I used to think WWE was wrong about you, where they said you couldn't be a star. I was a Mr. Anderson, Mr. Kennedy supporter for a really long time. I thought, even in Ohio Valley, they did this match with Hornswoggle in Ohio Valley, must watch. Hopefully it's on YouTube. I thought you were a star. I don't know what the fuck happened, but you need to get off television. You just need to regroup. You have no star power, no interest whatsoever anymore. And it bothers me. Hopefully you can go find your smile. Hopefully you can come back. But drinking beer contest, joining aces and eights. Just, you need to regroup, bro. Something happened to you. You lost your smile. You lost a skip in your step. But with all that said, if you enjoyed MVP Bobby Lashley, Kenny King as a trio, you probably enjoyed this Impact. If you were looking for great matches, you came to the wrong place for this episode. But if you're, so I could see a lot of people saying loss. So I could see a lot of people saying tie. I'm going to go with the win. In the comments below, please put win, loss, or tie. And I would be interested to see where you guys go from here. In a couple hours, minutes, we will be doing a SmackDown review. We got a new co-host for that, and I think me and Boom Boom will be doing a show. So expect a lot of shows within the next 24 hours. I have to get back on the ball. A long time ago, I wanted to do a show a day, and then I got sick. And then once, like YouTube, working out, and writing have a lot in common. If you do it every day, you become awesome at, no, awesome is a strong word. You become really good at doing it every day. It's like, wow, no, I got to work out. I don't do that anymore, as you can see. Oh, no, I got to update Reddit. Why? I don't know, because I need that karma. Maybe I need that karma. What can I get with karma? Nothing, but it feels so good, doesn't it? And then, same thing with writing. Like right now, I write every single day, but if I stop, I'm like, oh, I'll get to it later. And the same thing with YouTube, so I got to get back into it, and hopefully this week I start kicking more ass and doing it. Thank you for those that watch live, Internet Infantry. Let's see, any new comments? Oh, we got some new comments. Let's see. Of course they're not going to show that. I want to punch you right in the dick, YouTube. How do you freaking mess up your YouTube? All right, let's see. Bam! Oh, Clown89. Oh, Jesus. All right, here we go. Bam! Bam! All right, 2 new comments by 2 new guys. Welcome. I hope you enjoyed the show and you're not trolls. I think the problem is, but fans who don't watch TNA but go to do on TNA just trash it just to be on the TNA hate bandwagon. That is weak. I think they need more X Division. I agree with that. New women's wrestlers. Whoa. All right, we got a lot more comments. I'm sorry, Clown. Let's see. I think they need more X Division. I believe that. New women wrestlers. You know what? I'm kind of hypocritical, but I feel it. Because I feel like they need new women's wrestlers, but then when they put out a new women wrestler, I'm like, I'm not feeling her. She's not Gail Kim. So I'm kind of hypocritical about that. And more tag teams that would help out the show a lot, yeah. And as far as, the problem is fans don't watch TNA and do TV reviews and just trash it, yeah, I'm really against that. Sometimes I'm a little late. Like, even this one I was a little late because I was going to do it right after TNA went off the air, but I was with my son, and I missed a lot of the segments. So, but yeah, if you're going to review a show, be honest. And the thing is, if there is people out there that will just trash it because it will get attention, and then there's people that will just be positive about it. And if a show is too positive or too trashing, you're not really being honest. I mean, not all shows are winners, trust me. And more tag teams, that would help out the show a lot. I believe you're right, Clown89. Hopefully you come back and comment more. But yeah, I think the X Division, because like I said, the Explosion match, go on YouTube. The Explosion match this week was very entertaining. They had so many X Division guys on the spin cycle this week. So they have people, they're just not putting them out there. And then I read online that Sonata is headed back to Japan soon. And they're also having the big X Division. I have minus 100. I forget what the X Division is. I think it's Destination X. Don't quote me on that. But they're having a big X Division pay-per-view coming up. And they don't really have that strong of an X Division. And I don't know if they're going to give Sonata a title shot. But I don't know if this year's X Division champ can win the world title because, well, they did it 2 years in a row now. And the second year, it bombed miserably. That guy don't even have a job anymore, poor guy. Rainwalker88 says, TNA's roster right now is really thin. Yeah, but they have a lot of money problems, so I don't mind the brawling because it kept the Bromans and Murder G off TV. Yeah, I could see that. You know what? I'm going to be really honest with you. I usually absolutely despise brawls, but I love these 2 wrestlers, and I'm going to give them a pass for the pure things. But yeah, the Bromans don't bother me that much. It's just they lost to the Wolves 976 times in a row, so where do they go from there? So I don't know. I think the Wolves need something new. The MVP's faction, I have to say, is awesome. I like it too. This is from Zombies 40. I really do. They destroyed the Wolves, Aries, and EY, and unlike the Aces, these dudes can wrestle. That's a great point, Zombies 40. These guys can wrestle. Now, it's 3 different styles, but they can wrestle. I think MVP has a WWE style about them, more traditional. Kenny King is a great X Division wrestler, and I'm so happy for him. I'm really happy for Kenny King. And Bobby Lashley, like I said, if you book him right as a big man, he's an awesome big man. He can pull out some things. So, yeah. But, yeah, so Kenny King was the star of the show, in my opinion. And I agree. I agree with that. He was just awesome. All right. TNA at New York City is the make or break for TNA. I agree with that, and I'm a little worried about it. I really am worried about it. I hope they bring their A game, and it can be total nonstop action, not storylines everywhere. Maybe that's what they're saving these for. You know, a lot of the matches they have won't get over in the ballroom, but Kenny King and Eddie Edwards, trust me, that's getting over anywhere in the world, including New York. Spike reps will be in the house. If they fail to draw a solid show, I'm sure a trigger will be pulled. That's what the internet's saying. That's what strong vibes about that. But the thing is, the New York show is they're not going to the same arena. They're going to be in the same building, but they're not going to be in the same room as New Japan and Ring of Honor. They're actually booking the smaller room, which in some small ways, if I was Spike, that's kind of bad, and they still have to do it. They were handing out flyers, and during the ROH New Japan show, there was a TNA sucks chant. So, man, I also agree that territories will save pro wrestling. Entertainment just doesn't work. WWE and TNA are taking losses across the board, steering away to the core theme, which is credible pro wrestling. And I think you're right. The only thing that I think that gives me hope with WWE is there's NXT, and the only thing that gives me hope about TNA is that there's New York and they're running out of money. I honestly think TNA with less money is better than TNA with money, because then they can get rid of these WWE guys. You know, like there's talks about Kurt Angle re-signing with TNA. No, get rid of Jeff Hardy, get rid of Christy Hemme, get rid of Kurt Angle, get rid of all these guys. You're getting a 1.0, doesn't matter. Come on. I know the ratings are going down for EY, and I wanted to talk about that. The ratings are going down for EY, but EY is not being EY. I was worried about this because you got to make your champ serious, but EY is one of the most entertaining people in the world, but he's not being entertaining. So EY is really kind of in a fucking jam, and the problem that scares me is like, well, we gave a guy that they like a chance, but did you really? You're like, EY, have the title, and don't be you. Oh, no one's watching this. Yeah. Positives from TNA. The top champ, EY, is a credible champ, unlike turning Bryan into a coward on the screen. Yeah, that's true. EY, you know, they copied each other, but EY, after the copy, has been a more credible champ. And Bryan has been kind of, you know, fed to the fucking dogs. You know, look at, oh, you got a feud with Kane and you're scared. Get it? You got to do storylines. Daniel Bryan's biggest problem, besides the neck surgery, obviously, is that he's not CM Punk. Where CM Punk would be like, fuck you, I'm not doing that. Daniel Bryan's like, I'm the champ, sure, I'll do whatever you want. What hoops do you want me to drum through? And it's great, Daniel Bryan's humble and will do anything. That's great, and that's why we support him. But at the same time, he's humble and will do anything. Oh, I'm scared of Kane, even though I beat him in 36 seconds. So yeah, I do believe EY is being bettered after Copygate. And go back and watch that episode. Go watch the things Magnuses say. Because a lot of times shit slips, but like I said this earlier in the show, TNA had a show on in Japan. I live in Japan. And it was Copygate. And hear what Magnus says during the Battle Royal. Magnus is not fucking happy. And I wonder if that's why Magnus is kind of being disappeared into the doghouse with his fucking butt buddy. Should I use the crowbar? I don't know. Fucking poor Magnus. The new generation today, I'm confident can carry TNA through this dark age and hopefully steal the show at New York City. I hope so, man. I just hope total nonstop action wrestling returns. Not Impact Wrestling, not TNA, not the Dixie Carter show. I just hope that they're like, well, we have to give them what they want. That would be great. MVP Lashley and King equals Nation of Domination 2014. We'll be patient where they take this. How would you begin to set up booking for these New York City shows? From potential new talent to use or re-sign? I would just, whoever the best wrestlers are, I would be pushing them to the forefront. I would, you know, you're probably going in there with Eric Young and MVP as your main feud, and I think that's going to bomb. Kenny King, the American Wolves, Sonata, a lot of your X Division guys, Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode probably can hold his own. I think you need to realize that the best athletes need to be on display. You have to have pride, because when you paid your $10 back in the day for your TNA weekly pay-per-views, good, bad, or different booking, you knew those guys were going to bust their fucking asses. You know, I'd rather pay $10 to watch weekly TNA pay-per-views if I know they're going to bust their asses. It was really total nonstop action back then. And if you don't believe me, go watch an Explosion. They'll show a classic match, and then they'll show a fucking dark match. And, dude, you, as a TNA fan, you will be sad. You will be sad. All right, I see no other reasonable excuse. All right, hold on. We're going to boop, boop, boop. All right, Mike Ashman says, I see no other reasonable excuse for TNA Impact being overloaded with talking lately. It's basically because talent need that money to compete in the ring. TNA usually relies heavily on pay-per-view appearances, and this is the smallest roster being used ever in TNA history, literally down to the main roster that have re-signed or agreed to certain pay agreements, most being lower of what they were originally offered and signed. Yeah, so, yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I don't see. I mean, it's cool, but they're not getting rid of the big thing. Like, if you, like, I'm a huge Devil Race fan, and let me tell you something as a Race fan. You have to rebuild almost every year. It's like the Oakland A's with Moneyball. And there's people not delivering that take most of your money. I don't understand. Maybe I'm too much of a sports fan. Maybe I'm too much of a fantasy sports fan. Maybe I'm too much of a Devil Race fan. But you have to start looking at Jeff Hardy, Kurt Angle, Christy Hemme, these huge contracts, and cutting them. You know, it's great that I don't even know how much merchandise they're selling. See, they're not a publicly traded company. But if there's if they're not breaking even on their salaries with merchandise, which most likely, if I was a betting man, is the case, I would cut them. I'd be like, Jeff Hardy, let me see merchandise, how much it costs. Oh, nope, you don't sell enough merchandise. Gone, 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 gone. And I would just rebuild. You know, I would love to see that. Now, you know what pisses me off? It's the AJ Styles, it's the Alex Shelley's, it's the Kaz's, it's the Christopher Daniels, the ones that, they're the ones getting cut left and right. You know, all the WWE, former WWE guys are like, oh, here's a severance package, please come back anytime you want. And that's a huge problem. So, yeah. But, yeah, I understand. Let's see. Rainwalk88 says, cool to see Austin Aries and Wolves Kenny King getting so much on-screen time. Lashley Spear on Eddie and Davey through the table was hella sick. And I agree with you 100% there, Rainwalker88. Major props on your thing. I think that might be the last comment. Let me refresh. And then if that's the last comment, we'll wrap up and prepare for SmackDown. Oh, we got some spam thing. See, that's what I'm talking about. Mike Ashman left a legit comment, and YouTube's like, no, that's spam. But if someone goes by and be like, you're a virgin, and you live with your mom, and go to fucking Mike'sHardLemonade.net Wrestling Super Show, that makes it on fine. Fucking YouTube, get your shit together. Get your shit. Approve Mike Ashman. Yes, always approve Mike Ashman. All right, let's see. Newest comments. Bam! All right, and this will be the last one. Mike Ashman, we had to get you out of spam. All right, here we go. AR Fox, Ricochet, Rich One, Andre Everett, ACH. Oh, dude, I love ACH. New Japan Wrestling's Toma, Triple H, Jack Evans. I love Jack Evans. He gets a bad rap because he's best buddies with Teddy Hart. But, yeah, he's really awesome as far as his style of wrestling. Some people hate that style of wrestling, but if you like fast-paced, gymnastic-style wrestling, he's absolutely amazing. You have the whole X division right there, Smarten Up TNA. Yeah, and you could probably get these guys pretty damn cheap. I think ACH is one of the best pro wrestlers out there. I think he's one of the few new Ring of Honor. I'm not a big fan of Ring of Honor's new class of wrestlers. Or I guess class is the best way to describe it, but the new version of Ring of Honor. So, yeah. But yeah, I would love that. Not only that, but if Ring of Honor is working with New Japan, you can work with New Japan. You can get some of these great guys. But a lot of times it's egos. I want to be number 2 by myself. All right. Well, that will be the last comment. Any comment after that, I'll write down below in text. Also, if you have any questions, I'll probably do a Stump the Idiot this week because I'm way behind on that. Expect another show within the hour. I'm going to be doing a SmackDown review, or within the day. He might have went to sleep. And I'm also going to be doing a show of Boom Boom. So expect more shows. I got sick one day and then was a bitch about it. I was like, oh, I'm sick. I can't do it today. And then like 3 weeks later, I'm like, you know what? I don't need to do those YouTube videos. I'll do it twice a week. Now, I want to try to get it, build it up and build up an audience, build up the internet infantry. Thank you so much for all your comments. Please like, comment, subscribe. Go to Kocosports.com. It's a blog. We're working on it very hard. I'd like to thank Jerry, David Cooey, Pablo, even Boom Boom. Boom Boom's working hard like crazy too. So I really appreciate my staff, and hopefully we can just keep growing this thing and have a lot of fun. It's very humbling to do this and have people do it. Watch. Every little bit helps, so I really appreciate it. So we'll be back within the next 24 hours, maybe 2 or 3 more shows. 3 is a little ridiculous. Maybe 2. Definitely 1. All right. There'll be more shows. We're going to start doing a SmackDown review, so that should be a lot of fun. All right. So thank you. Go to Kocosports.com. And with that, I am over.